Meher Baba ki jai. So we start on discourses today, and where is Trello? So basically, we are starting with the theme of Maya today. Incidentally, my favorite subject, or my favorite parts, the four parts, especially the second part, is my favorite. So let's. I'm looking forward to today's reading. Um, Actually, yeah.
Yes,
So
Jay Baba.
yeah. So there it is. So
You to
there are
start
four
recording.
parts. Yeah, I did. I did. There are four parts to Maya, and we'll take it up one by one. My favorite in the four is the second one, which is just amazing. I think it's one of the best pieces of literature anywhere, according to me. Anyway, so before we start, let's start with the couplets of Hafiz today. Hafiz, rather. I keep pronouncing it the way we are used to, but it's actually pronounced Hafiz. And yesterday we read about Hafiz in detail and also looked him up. So, anyway, three couplets of Hafiz. Ashokji.
Yes, Avatar Meher Baba ki Jay. Three of Meher Baba's favorite couplets of Hafiz, a mystical Persian poet, befitting a fortunate slave, carry out every command of the master without any question of why and what. About what you hear from the master, never say it is wrong because, my dear, the fault lies in your own incapacity to understand him. I am slave of the master who has released me from ignorance. Whatever my master does is of the highest benefit to all concerned. Hafiz. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai.
Har Meher Baba ki jai. So, any thoughts before we get started?
What was that interesting part you said in the discourses, which is most.
Yeah, so these four parts, so the chapters are actually called parts in discourses, right? So there is no chapter at all. So if you look at the way discourses is structured, each unit is not a chapter. Each unit is a part. So my favorite theme, the theme is MBA language, right? So we created this topic and theme concept. So in that, my favorite topic is Maya, the topic of Maya. In the topic of Maya, we have four parts, that is, four units of the discourses. And I love all four of them. Favorite among them is the second one, which we will probably get to next week, right? Any thoughts? Yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah. That is basically false beliefs, illusion.
Correct. So he builds it up beautifully, right? So he starts with the idea of beliefs, mind, what it thinks, and then gets to Maya. I mean, amazing. Yeah, amazing. No, I can't wait. Oh, there is Kama just in time. So, Kama, are you able to hear me?
Yes, tell me.
So, what's the? I read it. I like this part the most, the Maya sequence. But you had a particular recommended sequence. What was that in the four?
I think start with the fourth chapter,
I remember four,
then
four, one, four,
four.
one, two,
No, 4, 2, 3, 1.
four, two, three, one. Okay, let's do that.
Try it.
Is that okay, guys?
Nothing to lose.
What's that?
Don't ask. Okay, just do it.
Okay. So again, I'd like to rest my throat as far as possible. So I'd like volunteers for reading. Um, by the way, my long call yesterday after our discussion messed up my throat for the rest of the day. So anyway, yeah. So let's do 4. Okay, Maya, part 4. Ashok, you want to try?
Yeah,
Or
I'll
Mamaji,
try the.
whoever is ready. Yeah,
I will
Ashok.
read first, I think.
Okay, please, please. Jai Baba.
Okay. Jai Baba.
So,
Maya.
just last context. We did God. So we have paired the themes, if you remember. The pair of themes are God and Maya. So it is appropriate that we finished God and then we are taking up Maya, right? So we started with, so again, let me show you that. So you start with spirit and matter. So a person who doesn't know anything about spirituality, you start by first understanding the concept of what is the spirit, what is spirituality. Then you explore the idea of consciousness. Then you take up the foundational or the most epic contribution from a word standpoint for Baba's Advent, which is sanskaras. It's going to become a most famous word. And then we explore the concept of God and Maya, God first. And now we are doing Maya part 4, 2, 3, 1. Right. So let's go. Yes, Mamaji.
Part 4. God and Maya. God above duality. You used to go through the subheadings first and
Yes, yes,
then, yes.
yes. Oh, yeah, yeah. Let's
God.
do. Let's do that. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So God, so the essence of the chapter here, and are there any references? Okay. The essence of the chapter is God above duality. Infinite cannot be dual part of finite. World of finite things is created by Maya. The illusion of finitehood. So again, play of words is important. Illusion of finitehood. Maya not limited by space and time. Maya as infinite is ultimately untrue. Intellectual difficulty in understanding Maya. Maya as God's shadow. Two states in which Maya does not exist. And knowledge of realization. So let's come back and see what we get at the end of this discourse. Thanks for reminding me. Please start.
Part 4. God and Maya. God above duality. God is infinite because he is above the limiting opposites of duality. He is above the limited aspects of good and bad, small and great, right and wrong, virtue and vice, happiness and misery. Therefore, he is infinite. If God were good rather than bad, or bad rather than good, or if he were small rather than great, or greater than small, or if he were right rather than wrong, or wrong rather than right, or if he were virtuous rather than evil, or evil rather than virtuous, or if he were happy rather than miserable, or miserable rather than happy, he would be finite and not infinite. He would be finite and not infinite. Only by being above duality is God infinite. Whatever is infinite transcends duality. Infinite cannot be dual part of finite. Whatever is infinite transcends duality. It cannot be a part of duality. That which is truly infinite cannot be the dual part of the finite. If the infinite is regarded as existing side by side with the finite, it is no longer infinite, for it then becomes the second part of duality. God, who is infinite, cannot descend into duality. So the apparent existence of duality As infinite God and the finite world is illusory, so the apparent existence of duality as infinite God and the finite world is illusory. God alone is real. He is infinite, one without a second. The existence of the finite is only apparent. It is false. It is not real. This is a good uh, chapter, paragraph to understand the non-possibility of both existing together.
So multiple ideas, right? So first you
Yes,
start with
yes,
the first paragraph just focuses on how the infinite necessarily needs to be above duality, because if it is infinite in its nature, it has to be above duality. And then here again there are in this topic, it starts with God who is infinite cannot descend into duality. And why? Because the apparent existence of duality as infinite God and finite world is illusory. We imagine that, oh, there is a God outside this world who is infinite. The point Baba is making is the world that we belong to is also part of that. So it's
yes.
amazing. It's just an amazing conceptual clarity being hammered in. So let's continue.
Hey, Baba, again,
World of
one
fire.
thing you have to remember. Sorry,
Yeah,
hey,
go ahead.
Baba.
Go ahead,
One
Baba.
thing you have to remember is to add on to what Karthik said. God is not an object of love. He is the subject itself. So whenever you think of duality, there is the subject, yourself, the lover, and the object, the beloved, which is the divine love, or what you call God as infinity, truth, self, which is
Okay,
Audio
Kama, your audio is
breaks.
bad.
God is not an object that I'll talk later.
All right, Baba. Jai Baba. Jai Baba. Jai Baba. Mamaji.
World of finite things created by Maya. How does the false world of finite things come into existence? Why does it exist? It is created by Maya or the principle of ignorance. Maya is not illusion. It is the creator of illusion. Maya is not false. It is that which gives false impressions. Maya is not unreal. It is that which makes the real appear unreal and the unreal appear real. Maya is not duality. It is that which causes duality. He is stressing the point so very clearly that Maya is not illusion. It is the creator of illusion.
Or the principle of ignorance. Actually, we should by heart
Yes,
this line. It's very,
yes, yes,
uh, very powerful. Would you mind reading this para again, please?
yes, yes. Can go up for the first sentence. How does the false world of finite things come into existence? Why does it exist? It is created by Maya or the principle of ignorance. Maya is not illusion, it is the creator of illusion. Maya is not false, it is that which gives false impressions. Maya is not unreal, it is that which makes the real appear unreal and the unreal appear real. So here the real is the God, which appears unreal, and the unreal appear real. That is the whole world, whatever we are seeing around us. Maya is
Perfect.
not duality. Maya is not duality. It is that which causes duality. Okay.
Jai Baba, so here there is a mention of false impressions. So the creation of sanskaras or the false sanskaras also is done by Maya. Here, impressions we can equate to sanskaras, right?
I don't think so. Here, I do not think that's the meaning. Here, the meaning is the dictionary meaning of impressions pre Baba, which is just it is the apparent creation, right? Or impression is what it
A false
creates.
notion. A false
Correct,
notion.
correct. I think that's what it refers, and not to the sanskaric meaning of impressions. So if you
Yes.
read it in that context, it makes sense. Maya is not false. It is that which gives false impressions. Maya is not unreal. It is that which makes the real appear unreal, but and unreal appear real. And beautifully analogized by Mamaji, makes the real appear unreal. God becomes something distant and unreal. And unreal, which is the world around us, we completely are convinced is there is a apparent reality to it, and we can't imagine it to be anything illusory. So that's the role, and that whole thing is not Maya. That whole thing is created by Maya. That's the point that's being made. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Illusion of finitehood. For the purpose of intellectual explanation, however, Maya must be looked upon as being infinite. It creates the illusion of finitehood, yet it is not in itself finite. All the illusions created by Maya are finite, and the entire universe of duality, which appears to exist due to Maya, is also finite. The universe may seem to contain innumerable things, but that does not make it infinite. Stars may be countless, there are a huge number, but the total collection of stars is nevertheless finite. Space and time might seem to be infinitely divisible. Space and time might seem to be infinitely divisible, but they are nevertheless finite. Everything that is finite, unlimited, belongs to the world of illusion, though the principle that causes this illusion of finite things must, in a sense, be regarded as not being an illusion. So, this is the principle. Maya is the principle which creates all these differences. Maya
Yeah.
not limited by space and time. Maya cannot be considered as being finite. A thing becomes finite by being limited by space and time. Maya does not exist in space and cannot be limited by it. Maya cannot be limited in space because space itself is the creation of Maya. Space, with all that it contains, is an illusion and is dependent upon Maya. Maya, however, is in no way dependent upon space. Hence, it cannot be finite through any limitations of space. Nor can Maya be finite because of any limitations of time. Though Maya comes to an end in the state of superconsciousness, it need not be considered finite for that reason. Maya cannot have a beginning or end in time because time itself is a creation of Maya. Any view that makes Maya a happening that takes place at some time and disappears after some time puts Maya in time and not time in Maya. Time is in Maya. Maya is not in time. Time, as well as all happenings in time, is the creation of Maya. Maya is in no way limited by time. Time comes into existence because of Maya, and disappears when Maya disappears. God is timeless reality. Thus, the realization of God and the disappearance of Maya is a timeless act. Thus, the
Beautiful.
realization of God and the disappearance of Maya is a timeless act.
Beautiful uh, para again. Any
Yeah.
thoughts or questions? Both space and time are not limited by Maya, and he proves that. By the way, I just remembered something which I forgot. So, what did you get from this para is that the creative universe, how the creative universe as we know it, is having a illusion of infinity, illusion of finitehood, right? So it looks like let's take the example. Universe may seem to contain innumerable things, but that does not make it infinite, right? Stars may be countless, there are a huge number, but the total collection of stars is nevertheless finite. So all of this points to the fact that everything that is finite and limited belongs to the world of illusion, though the principle that causes this illusion of infinite things must, in a sense, be regarded as not being an illusion. Please remember this concept of finitehood or the limitations of Maya. Okay. And we'll get to it in part one again. Part one again explores this very, very beautifully and brings out something which is remarkable. Anyway, we'll just keep this in mind, the finitehood or infinite, the nature of Maya from a finiteness and infiniteness perspective. Anything on space and time? Anybody?
Uh, uh, this paragraph is a bit of a difficulty in understanding. Maya not limited by space and time. The concepts given. So
So
Maya
at the
creates space and time.
correct. So if you go back to the creation on the divine theme, the before creation there was no space nor time. So in effect, at the point of creation, the principle of Maya also takes shape, and instantly space and time are created or
Created.
begin to
Yes.
exist. Begin to exist,
Yes.
and when they begin to exist, uh, uh, um, 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 you know, till the point of super consciousness. So if you see this line, though
Yes.
Maya
Yes.
comes to an end in the state of super consciousness, it need not be considered finite for that reason, right? So Maya is, so he says that though space and time are constructs that happen after creation, Maya is above that. Maya is above space and space and time are subservient to Maya and not independent. Space and time are dependent upon Maya. Maya is above. That's the point that's being made. I hope that's helpful. If you
Okay.
want, you can
Okay.
read it again.
Yeah, we can.
My
I have a suggestion for those who are mathematical. They can consider Maya as the universal set and space and time as the subsets of Maya. That might be a
yes.
in a Venn diagram.
Mr. Mathematics, please hold on.
Yes.
Baba will get after you. Will get after you. Come to part two. Maya will finish. Baba will finish mathematics.
Okay, okay.
So hold
Okay.
that thought. I like that. Hold that thought. Okay. So if you want, you can read this again.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes. I'll
Yeah,
read it.
please. Please. Thank you.
Maya not limited by space and time. Maya cannot be considered as being finite. A thing becomes finite by being limited by space and time. Maya does not exist in space and cannot be limited by it. Maya cannot be limited in space because space is itself the creation of Maya. Space, with all that it contains, is an illusion and is dependent upon Maya. Maya, however, is in no way dependent upon space. Hence, it cannot be finite through any limitation of space. Nor can Maya be finite because of any limitation of time. Though Maya comes to an end in the state of superconsciousness, it need not be considered finite for that reason. Maya cannot have a beginning or end in time because time itself is a creation of Maya. Any view that makes Maya a happening that takes place at some time and disappears after some time puts Maya in time and not time in Maya. Time is in Maya. Maya is not in time. Time, as well as all happenings in time, is the creation of Maya. Maya is in no way limited by time. Time comes into existence because of Maya and disappears when Maya disappears. God is timeless reality. Thus, the realization of God and the disappearance of Maya is a timeless act. Yes. So, there is only one possibility of thing remaining. Either it is always illusion or it is only God. So that's why we have to transcend this illusion to reach God. And once we reach God, there is no illusion at all. There is no Maya to play around.
I know what you're saying, but it's better to rephrase that as there is only God. Everything
There
else
is
is
only
illusion.
God. Yes, yes. We'll come to
Yeah.
that shadow
Yeah.
of
It's
God.
better to, yeah, exactly.
Yes, yes,
Exactly. Shadow. So
exactly.
there is only God. Yes. Perfect. Okay.
Okay.
Let's go to the next one.
Maya as infinite, ultimately untrue. Maya as infinite, which he has proved in the previous
The
paragraph.
earlier paragraph.
Maya,
Yes.
yes, earlier. Maya as infinite, ultimately untrue. Nor can Maya be considered finite for any other reasons. If it were finite, it would be an illusion, and being an illusion, it would not have any potency to create other illusions. Thus, Maya is best regarded as being both real and infinite, in the same way that God is usually regarded as being both real and infinite. Thus, Maya is best regarded as being both real and infinite, in the same way that God is usually regarded as being both real and infinite. Among all possible intellectual explanations, the explanation that Maya, like God, is both real and infinite is most acceptable to the intellect of man. Nevertheless, Maya cannot be ultimately true. Wherever there is duality, there is finitehood on both sides. The one thing limits the other. There cannot be two real infinites. There can be two huge entities, but there cannot be two infinite entities. If we have the duality of God and Maya, and if both are regarded as coordinate existences, then the infinite reality of God would be considered as the second part of a duality. Therefore, the intellectual explanation that Maya is real does not have the stamp of final knowledge, though it is the most plausible explanation. There are difficulties in regarding Lord's page.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but
The
I think this deserves discussion as well.
yes, yes, yes.
So is Maya infinite or finite?
Maya, I feel it looks like infinite,
Yeah.
ultimately untrue. But how do we ultimately make it untrue? How does Baba explain this? All our intellectual say, jugglery says that it is infinite.
Yeah.
But
So
the chapter
yeah,
says the Maya makes the infinite appear as finite. That's what Maya, right?
Fine.
It's not
no, no,
Okay.
but
itself finite, but that's what is given in the chapter. Yeah.
correct. So the answer to your question, Babaji, is here. If we have the duality of God and Maya, and both are regarded as coordinate existence.
Yes.
So maths again, Ashok. So if there
Yes.
is two infinite entities, then the infinite reality of God would be considered as a second part of a duality, which makes God
Yes.
not
Yes.
infinite, right? So that's
Yes.
one defense. The second one is God is real and infinite. So if therefore, how can Maya be real and infinite? It can't, right? So though there is a nature of infinity that it displays, or there is a chance that it can be mistaken for being infinite, it is not infinite. And we are all very convinced that it is not real, right? That's a easier conviction to carry. So it's neither real nor infinite, though it appears like that.
Yes. Sir. Somehow the chart 3 with a circle and a
Uh-huh.
multiple circle inside, that comes to
Yes,
my mind.
God
So the
speaks.
small circle that we are living in, we feel it as the hugest circle that we can imagine. That is illusion. But that is encircled by such a big circle, which is the reality. So it's a part of reality itself. But it say projects itself as though it is the biggest one, and there can be nothing beyond that. That is illusion.
Uh,
Yes, yes, yes.
I would also like to refer to chart 4 in God Speaks, which is very clear that God is above all illusion. And so basically, they have, yeah, even this one, where they have, God is reality and all else is illusion. So,
No, make
uh,
up your mind. Which one? Let's take Mamaji's first. Let him explain it again because it was difficult to visualize without understanding the right one.
so that was
And
chart
then
3.
Ashok.
Uh,
So,
yes,
So do you
that's
want?
the you are
Yeah,
showing
I
the
thought.
chart. What
I
I want.
thought.
Yes,
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 that's what I thought. It's not three. It's seven.
yes. So the top portion is illusion, which we imagine as the biggest ever possible thing. So we accept everything in illusion, but actually this is a part of the everything. So which is encircled. Reality uh, is encircling the whole of illusion also as a part of it. So that's what we have to understand. God is reality and all else is illusion. So God illusion or
Super.
illusion is a part of God itself.
Subset, or to use Ashok's thing, the superset is everything,
Yeah.
and illusion is a subset, and that's it. You can't say God is a subset, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
if
Okay,
you,
Ashok, now your turn. Which
same
one
thing
did
has
you
come in
want?
chart 4. Chart
Chart
4.
4.
Yeah. So they've given a semicircle, and above that is reality, Paramatma.
Yes.
Uh, and below that is all illusion. Same thing in a different manner. And the stages of our journey from Jiva Atma to first plane to sixth plane. I think this also explains the similar thing which Mamaji raised. The one which Mamaji raised is simpler to understand, but this also uh, differentiates between reality and illusion.
So if you contextualize what we are reading further, uh, so can we say that Maya starts here?
Maya
The
starts.
principle of Maya starts operating here, and is there right through all of this? Is that right?
Yes, through all of it. Yes, that's
So
so
once
the right.
once you go to the reality state, there is no Maya. So the
Absolutely.
okay. No, I'm just trying to contextualize it so that it's clear. But I'm glad we are able to correlate and bring these things together, because that's the whole idea, right? Any other thoughts before before we continue? Okay, let's continue.
Okay. Intellectual difficulty in understanding Maya. There are difficulties in regarding Maya as illusory and also as ultimately real. Thus, all attempts of limited intellect to understand Maya leads to an impasse. On the other hand, if Maya is regarded as finite, it itself becomes illusory, and then it cannot account for the illusory world of finite things. Therefore, Maya has to be regarded as being both real and infinite. On the other hand, if Maya is regarded as being ultimately real, Maya itself becomes a second part of the duality of another infinite reality, namely God. Hence, from this point of view, Maya actually seems to become finite and therefore unreal. So, Maya cannot be ultimately real, though it has to be regarded as such in order to account for the illusory world of finite objects. So, Maya cannot be ultimately real, though it has to be regarded as such in order to account for the illusory world of finite objects. So I
So
think this paragraph,
this topic, yeah, this topic, the para starts by taking the reverse position, right?
yes,
So on the one hand, if Maya is regarded as finite, it itself becomes illusory. Then it cannot account for the illusory world of finite things. Therefore, Maya has to be regarded as being both real and infinite, right? And then he goes on. On the other hand, if Maya is regarded as being ultimately real, Maya itself becomes a second part of the duality of another infinite reality, namely God. Means there is another thing other than Maya, and this becomes a second part. So from that doesn't make sense, because God is all pervasive. God is above everything. So from that point of view, Maya actually seems to become finite and therefore unreal. So anything that's finite, it can't be real. It can't be real, right? So hence it's finite and therefore unreal.
uh, I have a bit of disturbance. Can anyone else read? I will mute myself.
Sure, sure, sure. Uh, I maybe I'll read the balance. Just I hope my throat holds up. Maya as God's shadow, in whatever manner the limited intellect tries to understand Maya, it falls short of true understanding. It is not possible to understand Maya through the limited intellect. It is as unfathomable as God. God is unfathomable, ununderstandable. So is Maya unfathomable, ununderstandable. Thus, it is said that Maya is God's shadow. Where a person is, there is his shadow also. Where God is, there is this inscrutable Maya. Though God and Maya are inscrutable for the limited intellect working in the domain of duality, they can be thoroughly understood in their true nature in the final knowledge of realization. The enigma of the existence of Maya can never be finally solved until after realization, when it is known that Maya does not exist in reality. I repeat the last line. The enigma of the existence of Maya can never be finally solved until after realization, when it is known that Maya does not exist in reality, right? So, yeah, this is the big idea. Maya as the shadow of God, right? So all the it's and it's difficult to understand. Okay. Any volunteers to read? I think it's better that somebody take over. Um, Sanjay, Ashish.
Yeah, I can read.
Yeah, yeah, please.
Two
Two
states
states.
in which
Yeah.
Maya does not exist. There are two states in which Maya does not exist. In the original unconscious state of reality, there is no Maya, and in the self-conscious or superconscious state of God, there is no Maya. It exists only in God's consciousness of the phenomenal world of duality. That is, when there is a consciousness of the gross world or the subtle world or the mental world. Maya exists when there is no self consciousness, but only consciousness of the imagined other, and when consciousness is helplessly dominated by the false categories of duality. Maya exists only from the point of view of the finite. It is only as illusion that Maya exists as a real and infinite creator of unreal and finite things. A little bit scroll up. Yeah,
No, I'm just waiting to see if there's any reactions or discussions. Okay. I think the two states in which Maya does not exist are, I mean, so like we saw in the diagram, and I'm glad Ashok and Mamaji thought of that and we saw the diagrams. So when there is God, then there's no Maya. When there is Maya, there's no, I mean, God is always there. So let's not forget that. I should be careful in the use of words. But the super consciousness state, you don't have Maya, right? Okay. Any questions, or we can continue? Okay, let's continue.
okay. Yeah. Knowledge of realization. In the last and the only truth of realization, nothing exists except infinite and eternal God. There the illusion of finite things as separate from God has vanished, and with it also has vanished Maya, the creator of this illusion. Self knowledge comes to the soul by looking within and by overcoming Maya. In this self knowledge, it not only knows that the different ego minds and bodies never existed, but also that the entire universe and Maya itself never existed as a separate principle. Whether reality, Maya, whether reality Maya ever had is now swallowed up in the invisible being of the one soul. The individualized soul now knows itself to be what it has always been, eternally self-realized, eternally infinite in knowledge, bliss, power, and existence, and eternally free from duality. But this highest form of self-knowledge is inaccessible to the intellect, and it is incomprehensible except to those who have attained the heights of final realization.
So that brings us to the end of one of the parts, right? So
I
it's
think
the
the
last.
last two subsections are make things very clear. I think we can read it once again. I had some disturbance. Okay.
Sure.
Sure.
So let's read that part totally.
Yeah,
Two
from two
states,
states. Yeah, please.
yeah, two states in which Maya does not exist. There are two states in which Maya does not exist. In the original unconscious state of reality, there is no Maya, and in the self conscious or superconscious state of God, there is no Maya. It exists only in God's consciousness of the phenomenal world of duality, that is, when there is consciousness of the gross world or the subtle world or the or of the mental world. Maya exists when there is no self consciousness but only consciousness of the imagined other, and when consciousness is helplessly dominated by the false category of duality. Maya exists only from the point of view of the finite. It only as illusion that Maya exists as a real and infinite creator of unreal and finite things.
Yes.
In the
I
last,
so
oh, sorry.
this paragraph very clearly establishes that there are two states where Maya is non-existent. One is before the whim, Maya does not exist. So after the whim, Maya is in play totally. And when you cross through all the planes and cross over to the seventh plane, Maya is non-existent. This is what we have to clearly understand. And whole process through the question of who am I till realization, Maya is the force which actually holds the whole thing, and it is totally existent. Jai Baba.
Yeah, it's pervasive, it's unavoidable, and
Oh,
so the knowledge of super consciousness is, or the state of realization is where it vanishes, and it did not exist, like you rightly said, before the web.
yeah. Okay, go ahead with the next
Yeah,
paragraph.
Ashish. Yeah.
Okay. Knowledge of realization. In the last and only truth of realization, nothing exists except infinite and eternal God. There, the illusion of finite things as separate from God has vanished, and with it also has vanished Maya, the creator of the illusion. Self knowledge comes to the soul by looking within and by overcoming Maya. In this self knowledge, it not only knows that the different ego minds and bodies never existed, but also that the entire universe and Maya itself never existed as a separate principle. Whatever reality Maya ever had is now swallowed up in the indivisible being of the one soul. The
I
individualized
think
soul,
just to stop you here. In this sentence, whatever reality, that is a small r reality, not actually big R reality. So with
Correct.
this, you
And
can read. Yes, yes.
correct. And also self knowledge above is biggest self knowledge, which is important.
Yeah,
If
yes, yes.
start again from here in this self knowledge. Yeah.
the individualized soul now knows itself to be what it has always been, eternally self realized, eternally infinite in knowledge, bliss, power, and existence, and eternally free from duality. But this highest form of self knowledge is inaccessible to the intellect, and it is incomprehensible except to those who have attained the heights of final realization.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay,
Nice.
and also the last but one sentence very clearly stresses the point that self-knowledge is inaccessible to the intellect. So only if you go beyond intellect level, then alone you will be able to uh, fathom the reaches of self-knowledge, I think.
Correct. So it's not the last line is not directly related to the essay on Maya, but it's just a statement
Ah,
of fact.
yes.
But yeah, correct. Okay, so let's go to the next one, which is part two, and let's read the essence before getting to the chapter.
Karthik,
Yeah, Sanjay.
I I picked up my Kabir book,
Uh-huh.
which Baba quite loved, and I picked up some lines of Kabir on Maya. So
Sure.
may I read that? Yeah,
Sure, please.
yeah, yeah. माया मोटी माया सब तजै झीनी तजी न जाए पीर पयंबर औलिया झीनी सबको खाए मतलब व्हाट इट सेज इज जो मोटी माया मतलब कि माया ऑफ द lust greed anger जो which is common in the gross world is easy to shed but there's a jhini maya the subtle maya of your being on the path that kind of that is also a maya झीनी माया तजी न जाए पीर पैगंबर औलिया झीनी सबको खाए even those who are on the path पीर पैगंबर औलिया they also cannot are not able to shed this maya. That's one. Then मैं जानू हरि से मिलूं मो मन मोटी आस हरि बिच डारे अरंगा माया बड़ी पिशाच मैं जानू हरि से मिलूं I am trying to meet my beloved. But Mo Man Moti Aas means that's my biggest quest. Moti Aas. Aas matlab quest. Hari Hari बीच डारे अंतरा माया बड़ी पिशाच ये जो माया है that creates the impediments antara or gaps maya badi pisach means the ghost actually the pisach word is used it is like giving the megali your maya is like a pisach or the Satan as we call it in English is maya badi pisach आंधी आई ज्ञान की ढरी भरम की भीति माया टाटी उड़ गई लगी नाम से प्रीत आंधी आई when the flood of knowledge comes धरी भरम की पीत the illusion goes away भीति मतलब दीवार the wall of the illusion goes away धरी भी भरम की प्रीति माया टाटी उड़ गई टाटी is a temporary resting place you see on the tapri as we call it in chai ki tapri we call it right so that's the word टाटी माया टाटी उड़ गई लगी नाम से प्रीति आंधी आई ज्ञान की ढरी भरम की प्रीति माया टाटी उड़ गई लगी नाम से प्रीति so towards the end there is a bhajan on maya which if there is a time permits I'll sing 4 5 lines only yeah okay baba
Let's do the bhajan on Maya for sure.
yeah
Let's do that at the end. Yeah.
I'll do it towards the
So
end yeah baba
just remind me at 7:25 if I just keep going. Yeah. So let's start. Hi, Norm. Let's start with part two. And the essence of the chapter, the subtitles are Shackles of Maya, Intellect Plays into Hands of Maya, False Beliefs May Seem Self-Evident, Identification with the Physical Body, Identification with the Subtle Body, Identification with the Mental Body, Shedding the Last Falsehood, Soul is Beyond Thinking, Desiring, and Doing, an illusion that soul is the agent, belief that soul subject to dual experience, nature of ensoulment of mind and bodies. So these are the topics that we are going to cover. Let's go. Ashok ji, you want to read?
Yeah, okay. Just one sec. Am I audible enough? And
Yes,
clear?
yes.
yes
Maya, part two, false beliefs subtopic shackles of Maya. The shackles that hold the soul in spiritual bondage consist chiefly of wrong values or falsehood concerning valuation. Some falsehoods in the nature of wrong beliefs also play an important part in holding the soul in spiritual bondage. False beliefs implement false values, and they in turn gather strength from the false values in which the soul has been hung up. All false beliefs are as much creations of Maya as are false values, and they are used by Maya to keep the soul still in ignorance in its clutches. Maya becomes irresistible by taking possession of the very seat of knowledge, which is human intellect. Surmounting Maya is difficult because, with the intellect under its sway, Maya creates barriers and upholds false beliefs and illusions. The subtopic is intellect plays into Maya. It creates barriers to the realization of the truth by persistent attempts to sustain and justify erroneous beliefs. The intellect that functions in freedom prepares the way to the truth. But the intellect that plays into the hands of Maya creates obstacles to true understanding.
So I'm actually reminded of that second Doha that Sanjay ji mentioned, right? So even once you're on the path, Maya is constantly there. So it's there as the biggest gap between you and God, right? So even the Aulia, the Pir, the Paigambar, he goes through the same challenges of Maya as well. So it's the subtlety or the nature of Maya differs till they get to God realization. Maya is around till that time. You can't escape it, right? And
In all
here,
the paths, in all the paths from plane 1 to plane 0 to plane 6. It's all there.
correct, correct.
If you don't
So
mind,
if
last line again.
yeah, sure. But I just wanted to draw attention to a word that has more significant meaning than ever in discourses, and that word is values, right? Or false values read together. Baba gives a lot of importance to that. And if you meditate upon it or think more about it, you'll realize that it's the foundation of everything is our valuation. Whatever we value or attribute value to the objects of the subjective universe that we see around us is what determines who we are. So if you're able to see God everywhere, you're already there. If you're not, you are actually attributing false values. So that's what he's saying: values and beliefs, false values and beliefs. And then he says even the intellect plays into the hands of Maya. So even a superior person, I mean, obviously we went through the kingdoms, and now you're a human, and within the human kingdom, you've mastered and improved the quality of your thinking, and yet you can be in the clutches of Maya. Yamahu.
Uh, it is important to know that intellect itself is part of illusion. So it can't be real, and we can't really give it actually belongs to that category of false values and false beliefs.
Yes.
And in fact, in many occasions or in many instances, it's one of the biggest obstacles. One of them, not everything, is because it claims that it knows everything. It claims that it knows God, but God cannot be understood. Baba says God is to be lived. So that's why intellect plays a very important role in sustaining the Maya, sustaining it throughout this whole time, till finally we come to the state of self-knowledge, and we totally get ourselves out of the Maya. At that time, intellect has no part in it. That's all.
Beautiful, beautiful. Actually,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, intellect
Uh,
also sustains. Yeah, go ahead, Mamaji.
in this context, I remember the different stages that is told by Baba, like intellect, inspiration, intuition. There are 7 steps. So intellect is the barrier, like scientific evidence, what all we talk in the scientific evaluation of things. We stop at intellect. So intellect cannot decipher anything beyond that. So we have to go out of intellect, away from intellect to the next planes to really go to the paths in spirituality. Hey, Baba.
One more, beside this, one more thing that is important to know. The core of all this, which Baba explains it in Infinite Intelligence in detail, is throughout the evolution and even involution of consciousness, we are equipped with infinite false mind. As long as the infinite false mind exists, we don't have a good sense of reality. What is reality? In order to know what the reality is, we have to arrive at the stage that we already acquired the infinite intelligence. At that time, it automatically comes to us. So that's another thing to really look at. That's all.
I'm
Hello.
sorry. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I was
Okay.
talking on
Okay.
mine.
Okay.
I was talking
Okay.
on
Okay.
mute. Sorry. Yeah, we can continue. Yeah, agreed, Mahu. Let's go with false. Who's reading? Ashok. Yeah.
Yeah, the subtopic false beliefs may seem self-evident. Can you go back because it starts here? Yeah, yeah, yeah. The false beliefs created by Maya are so deep-rooted and strong that they may seem to be self-evident. They take on the garb of veritable truths and are accepted without question. For example, a person believes that he is his physical body. Ordinarily, it never occurs to him that he may be something other than this body. Identification with the physical body is assumed by him instinctively without requiring proof, and he holds the belief of all the more strongly. And he holds the belief all the more strongly because it is independent of rational proof.
I think all of us are guilty of this, right? All of us
Yes.
take. So we never ask for proof, or we never think on the lines of questioning that. So physical body is assumed to be us, and we instinctively live our lives there. The next para explores this further. Go ahead, Ashok.
Yes, the subtopic identification with physical body. An individual's life is centered around the physical body and its desires. To give up the belief that he is the physical body involves the giving up of all desires pertaining to physical body and the false values they imply. The belief that he is his physical body is conducive to the physical desires and attachments. But the belief that he is other than his physical body runs counter to accepted desires and attachments. Therefore, the belief that the individual is his physical body becomes natural. It is a belief easy to hold and difficult to uproot. On the other hand, the belief that he is something other than his physical body seems to call for convincing proof. It is difficult to hold and easy to resist. All the same, when the mind is unburdened of all physical desires and attachments, the belief that he is his physical body is seen to be false, and the belief that he is something other than the body is seen to be true. I just want to say one thing, that just because everybody else is believing that, we that whatever the world is our physical body, so we get trapped into that belief.
I think the central part of this paragraph is that one is previous para says that we are the physical body. Everything false beliefs may seem self-evident because we feel we are the physical body. And he gives in the next paragraph, he is explaining that this physical body being the primal for all of us is explained because of the say desires attached with this physical body. So the say fulfillment of desire, we feel that is the part of achievement. That's that attachment of desire with physical body becomes a primal reason to say that we are this body and nothing beyond this. So that is the catch point I got from this paragraph. Identification with physical body because of the attached desires. Fulfillment or non-fulfillment, everything plays a part in this. Jai Baba.
Exactly. That's the core of this.
Yeah. It's only through body that you realize those desires.
Kartik, I have a comment to make.
Sure, please.
Maybe related to this, maybe not. But as long as there is an ego mind, is there, and we all possess that. We all do have it. Ego mind's role is to identify itself with a physical object. So the ego mind look at the body and look at me and say, oh, this is Mahu. Mahu has this color of eyes. This is, I am this, I'm a student, I'm engineer, I am this. It defines itself through the physical surrounding. And why? Because it's very attached to the five senses. And the five senses is also very much connected with our desires. So it can't go beyond these five. When it touches, sense of touch, sense of, smell, sense of seeing, all that five senses, it brings it all together and think, oh, I am this physical body. And accepts the desires and attachment because it doesn't see anything but this body. And particularly people who don't believe in God, or particularly people who are not very spiritual. Obviously, they are more drowned in their desires and so forth. One more thing is, Baba is very aware of this. Of course, all of this is necessary for spiritual growth. That's how he designed it. But during the Premashram time, not Meherashram, Premashram, particularly Baba was giving this meditation to these boys, and of course we read some part of it in Subs and Drops. And their mantra, the mantra was this: I'm not this physical body. I'm not this gross body. I'm not this subtle body. I am not this mental body. I am the soul, and I love Baba through my soul. So that was one of the meditation that was given to these boys. And at some point, I heard that they had even the physical reaction. One would look at him, says, "Oh, go away, go away! I don't want you. You're not God." Like that to his body. And so there are ways to actually for us to come out of this sense of identification through the meditation. That's all.
Yeah, both are related comments. Desires is what makes this association or identification strong. And second, you can use meditation as one of the tools to get away from it. Yeah, thank you. Ashok, we can go to subtle identification with subtle body.
Yeah. Even when a person succeeds in shedding the false belief that he is the physical body, he remains a victim of the false belief that he is the subtle. Sorry,
He is his subtle body.
that he is the sorry. To give up the belief that he is the subtle body involves the giving up of all desires pertaining to subtle body and the false values they imply. Therefore, the belief that he is his subtle body now becomes natural to him, and the belief that he is something other than the subtle body seems to call for convincing proof. But when the mind is unburdened of all desires and attachments pertaining to the subtle body, the person gives up the false belief that he is his subtle body as readily as he gave up the false belief that he was his physical body.
I'm
That
not
is,
able to relate. I'm not able to relate to this because I'm not able to think like this at all. But that's me. Okay.
yeah. No, basically, it's giving up of all the uh, physical desires and attachments which Mahu had mentioned. If you want, we can read the last line and then you'll probably relate. He's saying that the gross, subtle, and mental body we have to get rid of. I think the mental will come sometime later. If you want, we can read the last line of the last paragraph.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So all the same, when the mind is unburdened of all physical desires and attachments, the belief that he is his physical body is seen to be false, and the belief that he is something other than his body is seen to be true. So basically, it's just getting rid of our attachments um, to the gross body than the subtle body.
Yeah, I think
That's what.
the question is, I think I have not reached the point where I'm able to I'm very convinced of my physical body association and identification, and I'm not able to associate that strongly and clearly with my subtle body. That's the point I'm making, more as a measure of where I am, and and
Yes.
yeah, that's all, right? So let's go to the third one.
And
Identification is very.
Kartik, it is important to it is important. Nikki is about 10 minutes. Yeah, it is important to know that the identification with subtle body is when the involution of consciousness
Starts.
happens,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
And in fact, during the first three planes that is we're dealing with our subtle body, desires has a lot to do with that. When you're in a world of energy, you see all desires as energy and you immediately get attracted to it. But desire is desire, whether energy is subtle or not. So, that Baba talks about it, that, when you get to that level, be very careful, like that. So I think he's talking about identification with subtle body now. What's happening there? Like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Correct, correct. Thank you. It's
Jai
only in
Baba.
the process of involution and in the planes. Yes, Norm.
Over the years, I have been like Baba conscious. I I do see a distance between my soul and the body. I don't identify with this body. My desires are lessening, and I see myself from a distance. I see this as a machine, and pain or gain, I don't identify myself with it. And that's my journey with Baba. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Awesome. I mean, you're there. I mean, do you identify with the subtle body?
I don't know what is subtle body. I feel the soul within me is Baba, and I he's just given me this machine to experience his creation, and my job is to keep him happy in this body. So I work towards it. But this body is not me. It's made up of 5 tattvas, and it will annihilate in due course. And whatever possessions I have, names, accolades, that's none of those are mine. And the only existence is pure consciousness. And for us, Baba lovers, it's Baba. And I can see changes on cellular levels and my DNA levels on looking at the world from a very different perspective. I have not left the worldly things, but in my heart, I'm away from it. Many things I can identify the problems I have as a in this body, which I never saw before, and then I smile and then I say, okay, I have to be mindful of this. And this, I think, is all, Baba's love and grace that you reach there. I don't know the terminologies, but this is my feeling. I feel the only existence within me, outside me, what I see, what I don't see, what I touch, who I touch, all is Baba. And I feel very blessed to be in that state. I I don't ask Baba, take me to another state, what will happen to my soul later, because it's not my job. The soul is him, whatever he wants to do, I just submit. And this is the underlying factor of my Baba's journey. I don't understand words, but I understand love and attraction and joy of his remembrance. And I can very easily say that he is constantly in my thought and mind, always. And that's freed me from a lot of things on this earth. And I just like float. And it's not I, it's nobody. When I have an illness or whatever thing, I can look at it from a distance. I say, okay, this machine needs this attention. And my health has improved a lot from this perspective. And more the pain points, more of Baba gets into it. And I feel extremely blessed and joyful. And that's what I want to share with you. Thank you.
That's
Interesting.
being more.
Yeah, go ahead.
What you told is the aspect of living the knowledge. So what we are doing is reading the knowledge. That's the difference, slight difference. So you are
Yeah.
moving in the planes, yes.
Yeah, all planes are his, Boeing and
Yeah. Okay.
but I do understand, like you say yes, yes, I got it, and I don't even remember. I've been reading these prayers for since 2016 every day. I don't remember the words, but the resonance of these words, what they do to my soul, and how it frees me, is beyond my vocabulary or expression. Um, I honestly live Baba. Uh, that is His grace. I, I don't exist, so it's He who's doing and who is trying to get the drop soul to another level or whichever level, whatever He says, I do. Jai Baba.
Namita ji, it's great that you share your personal experience and you're on the path, if I may say, and that's why you are getting this. And so I wanted to read 3 and 4 of the My Wish. Karthik, is it okay
Sure,
with what Namita has brought about? I think it's relevant. So
sure.
when you feel happy, think Baba wants me to be happy. When you suffer, think Baba wants me to suffer. And 4, be resigned to every situation and think honestly and sincerely. Baba has placed me in this situation. So, uh, Nomita ji, it is basically Baba, as you rightly said, and so that's why you're getting this sort of experiences.
Thank you, Ashokji. Yes, it is all Baba. Absolutely.
Karthik, I'll start reading from the last line because so that to ensure continuity.
Okay.
Throughout his long life as an
No, start the whole topic. We didn't read this topic at all. So identification with mental body and start from here.
okay.
And we'll actually end with this and get back to this next week because of we'll have Sanjay sing the Doha and a song on Ram before we wrap up. Yeah,
Oh, absolutely, and that's very appropriate.
correct.
Uh, okay, identification with mental body. So this is not the end of false beliefs. However, even when a person abandons the false beliefs that he is his subtle body, he chases the illusory belief that he is his mental body. The person chases this false belief because he relishes it. Throughout his long life as an individual soul, he has clung fondly to the false idea of his separate existence. All his thoughts and emotions and activities have repeatedly assumed and confirmed but one affirmation, namely the existence of the separate I. To surrender the false belief that he is the ego mind of the mental body is to surrender all that has seemed to constitute his very existence. In
So this
surrendering,
no, I will stop here. But
okay,
I think this one is the big leap, right? So you leap
Yes.
from giving up the ego mind, and that's a big leap. So, and it's a challenge as well as the last frontier before you get to God realization, right? So the separate I is persistent till till this stage, and that's the mental body stage. And like Mahu said, all this is in the planes. This is after the fourth plane, midway through the fourth plane and up to the sixth. And then we give up on that separate existence. So we will pause here and hand over to, how many minutes do we have? Yeah, we still have maybe one more paragraph. Yeah, please let's read shedding last falsehood, Ashok.
shedding last falsehood, in surrendering the false belief that he is his physical or subtle body, it is necessary to surrender various desires and attachments. It is the giving up of something one has had for a long time. In surrendering the false belief that he is his ego mind, the, in, the individual is called upon to surrender the very core of what he has thought himself to be. To shed this last vestige of falsehood is therefore the most difficult thing. But this last falsehood is no more lasting than the earlier falsehoods that seem to be unchallengeable certainties. It also has its ending and it is shed when the soul renounces its craving for separate existence. The soul is beyond thinking, desiring, and doing. When the soul knows itself to be different from the gross, subtle, and mental bodies, it knows itself to be infinite. As infinite soul, it does nothing. It merely is. When the mind is added onto the individualized soul, it appears to think. When the subtle body is added onto the soul with the mind, it appears to desire. When the gross body is added onto this, the soul appears to be engaged in actions. The belief that the soul is doing anything is a false belief. For example, an individual believes that he is sitting in the chair, but it is the body that is sitting in the chair. The belief that the soul is sitting in the chair is due to the identification with the with the physical body. In the same way, a person believes that he is thinking, but in fact, it is the mind that he is thinking. The belief that the soul is thinking is due to the identification with the mind. It is the mind that thinks and the body that sits. The soul is neither engaged in thinking nor any other physical actions.
So beautiful explanation for the identification. So, and also there is attributes that are connected to each of the stuff, each of the identifications, right? So when you identify and engage in actions, the soul is dealing with the gross body. When it is desires, it is the subtle body, and then once it's thinking, it's the mental body. Again, it's not to be understood that you don't think or you don't have desires when you are identifying with the gross body. The predominance is more in that, right? And even when you identify, when you are in the planes and you are in your identifying with your subtle body, there are desires. Mahu pointed that out. And even in your mental body, you have desires, and you go after fulfilling those in the mental body, and the mental body enjoys that fulfillment, right? So I think with that we'll pause here and hand over to Sanjay ji and listen to. I have a request for two songs. One, the song that he had on Maya, and given the mood of the world, also the song on Ram that you already shared from Smule, right?
Right.
Jai.
But Karthik, just allow me. I wanted to just
Yeah,
add
yeah,
one
sure,
thing.
sure. Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Any other questions before we
It-
do that? Yeah.
It's okay. Just a small thing that when you are moving from the gross body to the subtle to the mental, the intensity or the potential of the desires gets reduced, if not eliminated.
Intensity.
The intensity, yes.
Correct. But if you go and read, I think I don't know, is it infinite intelligence? The desires in the subtle world and for the subtle body can also be pretty intensive. The experiences of fulfillment of those desires and the enjoyment can be very intensive as well. So it's not that it's to be assumed that the bodily desires are the most gross and hence most intensive. The others can also be very strong, is my understanding.
Okay. So basically, it's different strokes for different folks.
Yes, yes.
Jay Baba,
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question. Since Baba says, I am Zoroastrian, I am Ram, I am Allah, I am Buddha, everyone. Now, with this temple being constructed, based on his teachings, what does it mean to Baba lovers like us?
So
Actually, I've
Baba
been thinking
temple.
exactly. I've been
So
thinking
Baba
about it,
temple.
and I, I've been thinking about it, and I think beyond a point, there's no impact on us. I believe that uh, if you get lost in the form of Rama, then we are failing Baba, right? Baba has at the same time, the we cannot forget that Ram was also Baba, right? So it's a fine balance, but largely, I think we need not be greatly excited by this. As if you get greatly excited, you're not connecting to the latest packet of oats. The latest packet of oats is Baba, right? So we recognize and applaud that Baba as Ram is being celebrated, feted, and getting a recognition worldwide. Great. Jai Shri Ram to that. But recognize that Ram is Baba. That's my, I mean, I've been thinking about your question before as well. And so this is my response to it.
Yeah.
And Baba has said that he's above all religion, or he says that, say, Zoroastrianism or Jainism or Hinduism or any other religion, the realm of spirituality is above religion.
Yes. So if you can see Ram in that manner, and few of the people in the world are seeing Ram in that manner, I applaud that. I welcome that, and I think that's what Baba wants as well, like you said. So Ram seen in a narrow religious way of representing a religion is inferior to Ram being the representative of a certain set of values which are universal and applicable across religions. That we should welcome and applaud as Baba lovers.
Yeah, Baba,
Does that
thank
answer
you.
your question, Namita? And what do others think? Any others also on this topic? Because I know it's at least for the Indians
Yeah,
on this group, I'm sure we're
yeah,
inundated with information about this topic in the last few days.
One comment I have to make, and I think for Baba it's okay because he said, "I have come to bring all the religions like a bits on one string." Uh, for him, all these religions are just connected with each other like on one string. And perhaps people who have done that, they have a strong connection with Rama, and that's where they're at. But I'm pretty sure Baba will work through that as well. There has been occasions that Baba appears to them in a form of Ram. Maybe the body is
yes,
Ram, but the face is Baba, and
yeah,
Baba has done that. So he's gonna eventually work on that and wipes it away.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Karthik, can
absolutely.
There are stories. Yes.
Ashok, were
I,
you trying to say something? Yeah,
yeah. I was just needed. Can I read just two lines from the preface to the first edition of God Speaks?
sure, sure, sure.
Okay. So Meher Baba's pronouncements have always been without sectarian purpose or bias. He has often made direct statements to the effect that he appreciates all isms: Sufism, Vedantism, Christianity, Zoroastrianism, Buddhism, etc. Religious and political parties for the many good things they seek to achieve, but does not and cannot belong to any one of them. So I'll just
Perfect.
read one, just so that he has often made direct statements to the effect that he appreciates all isms, religious and political parties for the many good things that they seek to achieve, but does not and cannot belong to any one of them. That's something that, as Baba lovers, we should just keep in at the back of our mind or at the forefront, that we respect all religions, but Meher Baba and his love for humanity is above all. Jai Baba.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, Baba.
Yes, so let's, Sanjay ji, over to you. I think requesting all other mics to mute. And Sanjay ji here to unmute. You're still on mute.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So just post. I posted the Maya song of Kabir on the Telegram, so you can maybe put it on the screen.
Sure, I'll do that.
English translation. Yeah. So this song basically appeared in the television serial Kabir, which came, I think, some 20 years back or so, maybe more, 30 years back, where Nasruddin Shah played the character of Kabir, and probably it is available on YouTube if anybody wants to see. So,
Oh,
Maya, it has come, yeah. Maya Mahathagani Ham Jani, O Maya Mahathagani Ham Jani. निर्गुण फास लिए कर डोले बोले मधुरी बानी हो माया महाठगनी हम जानी. I think Karthik, you read the English translation first, and then I sing. That would be better, actually, so people can connect better. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Maybe I
sure,
can. Yeah, yeah.
sure. So I have come to know the illusory power to be a great thug, thief, or stealer. Her hands sway, holding a web like trap. She, Maya, speaks in a sweet voice. For Keshava, also another name for Krishna Narayana, the sustainer, she is seated as the embodiment of abundance. For Shiva, the god of dissolution, she is the empress of the worlds. And for the priest, she is seated as the idol of worship. And in places of pilgrimage, she manifests as the holy water. Remember, he's talking about Maya and he's giving all these attributes to Maya. It's beautiful. For yogis, she is seated as the spiritual partner. In the king's palace, she is the queen. For some, she is seated as a priceless diamond. For some, she is a mere penny. For devotees, she is seated in the object of devotion. That is literally the God place position itself, because that also, remember, is Maya. For Brahma, she is his consort. Says Kabir, listen, O practicing aspirant, all this is an untold story. Beautiful pick, Sanjay ji. Beautiful one. Please go ahead.
Yeah, let me start. माया महाठगनी हम जानी हो माया महाठगनी हम जानी फिर गुण फांस लिए कर डोले बोले मधुरी वाणी हो माया महाठगनी हम जानी केशव के कमला होई बैठी शिव के भवन भवानी हो माया महाठगनी हम जानी पंडा के मूरत होई बैठी तीरथ हूँ मैं पानी हो माया महाठगनी हम जानी जोगी के जोगिन हुई बैठी काहू के कौड़ी कानी हो माया महाठगनी हम जानी भक्तन के भक्तिन हुई बैठी ब्रह्मा के ब्रह्मानी हो माया महाठगनी हम जानी कहे कबीर सुनो भाई साधो यह सब अकथ कहानी हो माया महाठगनी हम जानी तार में बाबा की जय जय बाबा
Ramji ka song and we wrap up. I know we are
Okay.
way out of time, but
Yeah.
we have to do it.
You opened a topic which needed everybody to comment. Yeah. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणम् त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वम् मम देव देव जिनके हृदय श्री राम बसे, उन और को नाम लियो न लियो, जिन के हृदय श्री राम। कोई मांगे कंचन सी काया, कोई मांग रहा प्रभु से माया। कोई पुण्य करे, कोई दान करे, कोई दान का रोज बखान करे। जिन कन्या धन को दान दियो, जिन कन्या धन को दान दियो, और को दान दियो न दियो, जिन के हृदय श्री राम। कोई घर में बैठा नमन करे, कोई हरि मंदिर में भजन करे, कोई गंगा यमुना स्नान करे, कोई काशी जाके ध्यान धरे। जिन मात पिता की सेवा की, जिन मात पिता की सेवा की, उन तीर्थ स्नान कियो न कियो, जिन के हृदय श्री राम बसे, उन और को नाम लियो न लियो, जिन के हृदय श्री राम। जय श्री राम। अवतार मेहर बाबा।
Sar Meher Baba ki jai, Jai Shri Ram. And thank you so much for the two songs. I'll stop recording, but we can